All right, Amit, great to see you. Welcome aboard iGenie. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Trevor. And the welcome has been warm, and I'm just looking forward to, working with you and the entire team. I'm all raring
Yes.
to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting journey, right? After leading one of the world's most established research organizations as CEO of Ipsos India, like what motivated you both personally and professionally to step on into an AI native consumer insights company like iGenie, which is, 80 people, growing quickly, tripling year over year, but at this stage of your career to jump into something like this?
Well, I mean, interesting question, Trevor. And I think professionally, after spending more than 30 years in survey research, I just felt that, you know, uh, now we need to move on as an industry. And I just felt that with especially iGenie's Gen AI suite of solutions and cutting edge technology, I just felt that I should be part of something which is shaping the future of the research industry. And so that was my calling. On a personal front, post COVID, I started investing a lot in upskilling myself. So I picked up coding, which is incidentally now irrelevant with vibe coding. But I got interested in technology, and I sort of started tinkering and building things on my personal time. And I also got fascinated by what a technology like generative AI can do to us. In fact, I wrote a book a couple of years ago about the nonlinear world, and how the technology is shaping us and what kind of opportunities sort of come around. And I'm a strong proponent that we are on the verge of something I term as digital renaissance, a bit similar to what we saw in the 14th and 15th century. I should not say what we saw because we were not there. But I feel that with AI, there's going to be a boom of opportunities, a boom of, creativity. And I just wanted to be a part of that entire, sort of era, both personally and professionally. And that's what
Yeah,
actually drew me to, iGenie. And here I am.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's incredible just watching how you're digging in, and I think you mentioned AI. You're actually getting a degree in AI, which is also incredible. Tell me like what drove you to get a degree in AI? Why do you feel like you needed a degree to be able to be here at this kind of precipice of something new?
Yeah, in all honesty, when I started my career in last 30 years, I mean, you learn a lot while talking to clients, just looking at trends. But with AI, one also needs to equip himself or herself. And I thought, why not actually go back to school and do something very fundamental? I mean, it's a different thing when you use Chat GPT or sort of use one of the tools that do a bit of vibe coding. But I wanted to get some sort of something which is very basic and fundamental, and that's why I signed up for a executive program, a doctorate program, so I can claim I am a doctoral researcher in AI. And who knows, I sort of this just might give me a sort of bigger kick. So I think currently, if I look at personal, professional, work, academic, it's all about AI. That's what my calling is right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're all trying to figure it out, and everybody's struggling with what it means to be AI. And I think we all use ChatGPT and Claude, but to say you're going to get a doctorate in AI, I think is incredible. Um, as you look at the various different shifts that are happening in how organizations seek truth about consumers, what stands out most to you today?
I think maybe I'll talk a bit about how things were in the past a bit. And my impression is that, market research or survey research used to be quite compartmentalized. And there was almost like a monopoly when it comes to the role of surveys in generating insights. But that is a very different world back then. Now, you have multiple data sources, and a lot of the data sources throw up data which is in millions and zillions of data points day in and day out. And secondly, it's a tough world. Leaders, C-suite, marketing folks, they find it difficult to integrate everything. So I think for me, the true nature of insight, or what qualifies as insight, has progressed quite a bit. It's beyond surveys. It's a lot of data sources and is giving real-time intelligence, which is actionable. So I think that's the big shift that I see as compared to, when I started my career.
Yeah, I mean, like AI is great at being able to look at multiple different patterns across many different dimensions. Not two-dimensional or three-dimensional thinking, but hundredth dimensional thinking. And one of the things that we see a lot is just kind of siloed data sources, and that's where AI can really shine. Do you think that the industry is ready for reinvention and ready to take advantage of it?
I don't think the industry has a choice. And it's nothing which is specific to our industry. I think it's happening across industries. I mean, look at the media industry, look at the creative industry, look at marketing, look at customer service. It's happening everywhere. So I don't think we have a choice and we can bury our head in the sand and sort of, try to be the proverbial ostrich. We can't. We can't. I mean, we have to move on. But at the same time, I want to make it a point that, using AI, it's not a solution which can, cover everything and anything. I mean, there's always a human in the loop, and I know at i-Genie we believe strongly that there should always be a human in the loop. We're not sort of talking about you press a button and wonderful things will come out. So there's always a human who brings the domain expertise, who brings the empathy, who brings the editorial control, who brings the governance. So I think that's the way things will shape. So it's not a 0-1 scenario where the survey industry, which was quite a bit dependent on people and processes, and not a lot on technology, suddenly, the role of people is going to disappear, the role of processes will go, and we just have a tech. I don't agree to that. I think it's a transition, but the transition is happening quite fast. And to be frank, we don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about AI being augmenting intelligence rather than artificial intelligence. It's really that human in the loop is key. Now, you've worked closely with big global brands navigating transformation. Do you see expectations changing from insights teams, at the C-suite level compared to 5 years ago? What are you seeing out there?
Yes, so there's a massive shift in the expectations. It is a world which is getting increasingly difficult to figure out. It is a world which is now, there's too much of data. I don't think we are live in a time when anybody will ever say I have less data. I think people will complain that they have too much of data. And to be frank, to process all of the data real time and make some sense out of it for a human on his own is very difficult. So to that extent, I think the role of insights has to emerge. And if you look at the insights industry, and especially on the client side, there's a lot of demand to sort of get real-time inputs which are actionable, which perhaps in maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when surveys belonged to an era where surveys were the only way to understand your consumer and customer. There was nothing else. There was no big data. There was no data for that matter. At that time, it was one single stream, and maybe you can just juice it out in multiple ways and look at the data for multiple ways. And that was the best, and that was the only option. And there's nothing wrong in it. But now with so much of data and so much of complexity and so much of changes in the environment, to get real time, on the tap intelligence, integrating all of these data streams, and make sure that what you get is very actionable. I can action it tomorrow and I see the impact day after. So I think those are the kind of expectations which are being set for the insights professional, and it is tough. I mean, there's no magic bullet, there's no easy solution, and that's why I feel that the human in the loop plays a big role, because life is not so simple that you just deploy AI, and then just ask a question, simple question, and you get answers. No, because you need to make sure that there's no hallucination, there's enough domain expertise. You need to make it quite relevant to business and all the stakeholders, but at the same time it has to be very actionable. So I think the demands are just going up. Using technology is just part of the solution, but finally it has to be human. And I think to that extent, I like i-Genie's proposition of being partners in augmenting human intelligence. So we are not saying that it's going to replace anything. It's going to only make you look better and make you look more comfortable and confident when you try to give your recommendations to solve a business issue. I like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's absolutely critical. And you've spent a career balancing methodological rigor with innovation throughout your career. And, it's interesting if you look at that, a lot of the studies, it's going from spending your time producing the data and the insight to now checking hallucinations and the quality of the outputs. And, kind of these things are shifting. Um, and somehow, sometimes when you're focusing on actually checking the work rather than producing the work, conservative market researchers, are looking at this as, kind of undermining trust and reliability and insight. So how do you see AI enhancing rather than undermining that trust and reliability?
I don't look at AI as undermining the authority and trust. I think it's for me it's a bit of a mindset change, because usually the survey research industry. I mean, I'm just using the earlier insights industry as a bit of a surrogate for survey research industry, because in the olden days surveys were the only way to get insights. I think there the mentality tends to be piecemeal and ad hoc, because usually surveys are around a specific need. You're running a concept test, you're running a product test, and the engagement with the client is, on a piece basis or per project basis. So there are a lot of skills like project management skills, which used to take a majority of time of the erstwhile researchers. But when you start deploying AI, the brilliant part is that there's a lot of upfront investment that you put in along with the client. So it's not only we as a provider or a partner, but also the client. You're putting a lot of investments in building the collaterals, building the prompts, and then you deliver a system which is able to give you solutions on the tap, month on month, quarter on quarter, and these are validated solutions. So I think the mindset has to change. It's not as if I'm creating a new solution and making it very customized and then give me 3 months, I'll come back and give you the answer. It's not like that. You put that investment upfront and you make it fit to purpose, built to purpose, and relevant to all the stakeholders, and then you put it on autopilot so that you get these on the tap insights. So I think it's a different kind of skill set. I would say it's less of project management and more of client management. It's less of let's make up the solutions as we go along, to let's put that upfront investment so that we build something which lasts and which is enduring for the future. Instead of looking at, let's cut the data by multiple things and let's sort of, throw everything into the sink. Not that kind of mindset, but let's invest a bit and then, make sure that we deliver something which is extremely actionable and extremely tangible. So I think it's a mindset change. And once that happens, then I think, the real beauty of AI will actually come through.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on it, and this is something that Paul Van Gent, our COO, says a lot. It's like, oh, can't I just take these data sources and then throw them into an LLM? And it's like, yeah, conceptually it's easy. Now you try it, see what happens, right? People don't realize how much goes into curating each of those prompts and subprompts and organizing your information into something that is useful. I joke that for a home cleaning product, if you ask ChatGPT for a new product, it's not a joke. It actually told me that I should have a brush that I clean my toilet and my sink. Like I would ever do anything like that, right? Um, and part of what's exciting to me is that there's all this data that we structure our taxonomies, understanding every ingredient and benefit, segment and subsegment. So it's not just a recommendation, but observable data and a methodology. And that methodological rigor is key. Now, as I think about your journey, that brings us to i-Genie. I think your move signals a broader convergence between industry expertise and technology platforms. I think two things, like how do you envision experienced research leadership shaping the next generation of AI products? And what was it about i-Genie that made you think like, okay, this is the right next thing for me because of where we are in that precipice of survey data and legacy data sources to digital data sources, AI, and that whole swirl?
Yeah, so I think, you know, I mean, I've seen Martech and AdTech evolving a bit ahead of Westtech. I think Westtech, this is the time and era for Westtech. And I think one of the challenges I saw when I scoped out the Westech universe is that there is the insights universe, which is dominated by what I would call as traditional agencies. And then there is a tech ecosystem, which is just deploying LLMs and writing code. And what I found strange is that there is hardly any interaction or intersection between the two ecosystems. And as a result, for example, you'll have somebody whose core expertise is tech delivering a tech solution without understanding insights. And I think the example that you gave of ChatGPT and home care, that's a classical example because LLMs will always give you an answer to any question that you ask. But if there's a human there who's seen data for 20 years, 30 years, who has spoken to real clients and understood real business issues, the value that such a person can bring, you can't put actually a tangible value to it. So I think for me, what excited was not looking at AI just for the sake of AI, and not just looking at AI as a bolt-on, strap-on solution, but see where the convergence of the tech and the AI is happening with true insights and domain expertise. And I think one thing I liked about is that iGenie has people like Stan, people like Paul, and so many other people who worked on the client side. And they have seen the insights world over the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And I think that domain expertise is really critical. So when you bring that domain expertise and the insights knowledge with AI, I think magic can happen. I think that's one of the reasons why I got attracted to iGenie because otherwise anybody will go and say I can build agentic AI, I can sort of deliver LLM. I can do it. I mean, I have enough expertise to actually deliver an agent. But does that make that solution the best in class? No. That's when the expertise comes in. So I think it's the right confluence or convergence between the domain expertise and technology. And I think what I've seen so far at iGenie, and Trevor, I'm sure you'll agree that, we are not looking at AI as a bolt-on. The amount of time we put in building the right kind of sentiment models, the right kind of prompts, so that the same data can be massaged and we can extract insights when it comes to, branding or campaigns or trending. So the magic is in the entire process. It's not just press a button and you get something. And don't ask me what it means. You figure it out. That's not what hygiene is all about. And I like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some conversations about what it means to support the India market, and you've told us, okay, we need to support these languages. And at iGenie, we actually finely tune the language models so it's not the off the shelf because those little inferences matter, right? And it goes back to, again, that quote from Paul, sounds easy, just throw it in an LLM. Now you try it, right? And so it's that thoughtfulness that's really key. Now, looking ahead 3 to 5 years, what will success look like for you, for i-Genie.ai, India, and the wider ecosystem if AI fulfills its promise? How do you see the future and iGenie?
So I think for me, the fact that I've come on board and I'm so excited with, being part of iGenie, it just shows my conviction in not only, what iGenie we are able to achieve over the next 3 to 5 years, but also how iGenie can actually transform the industry. So for me, one way to look at the success over the next 3 to 5 years is in terms of revenue and ARR. And I know, Trevor, you're going to love that, and so do I. But for me, the real kick is when we really get our products and our expertise and our heritage embedded in as many clients, business as possible. So I would want us to be the gold standard. I would want us to be sort of, really the benchmark or the North Star when it comes to developing insights. I know that's a tall order, but then I feel that we have the right kind of tool and people and technology to make that happen. I think my in a way vision would be that in a client organization we are able to provide data on a continuous basis. Obviously, the nature of the data, the nature of intelligence, nature of insights will vary. You might want to consume something every day. You might want to consume something every week. You might want to consume something every quarter, maybe every year. But the vision would be to have iGenie products embedded at each and every stage, and they pull all kinds of data sources together and give insights which are on the tab and actionable. So that's my vision.
Yeah. Yep, I love it. I love it. Now I'm gonna close on this, Amit. I don't know if you remember how we got connected and we've started having a conversation about i-Genie. Do you remember?
Yeah, yeah. I
I
think it was
reached out on
almost,
LinkedIn.
yeah, that's right. I think it was some part of the last year that we
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
connected for the first time. Yeah.
yeah. So this is a kind of case in point. The most important thing that I do as CEO is build an incredible team, and we're very lucky to have you here. How it happened was I have an AI agent that goes through Stan's network and identifies the most incredible people that I should connect with, and then automatically reach out and introduce myself. And then when they respond, basically I start setting up a conversation. And that's how we got connected. And it's just a great example of how these tools are augmenting human intelligence to solve our most critical problems, and to build strategic success. I think our investment in i-Genie.ai for India is going to be an incredible success with you at the helm. I'm really excited to have you here. I love the fact that you're getting your hands dirty and really understanding what it means to be an AI, getting a doctorate in AI, and to be really focused on what it means to make our clients successful, because that's really at our core. So, Amit, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for this. I'm really looking forward to a bright future ahead for not i-Genie.ai only, but the whole insights industry and augmenting human intelligence. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Trevor. And I think from my side, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to working with you and the entire i-Genie team. And what I love is also the name i-Genie. And I'm pretty confident that all of us could be genies in making some magic happen. So let's go and do some magic together.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you so much, Amit.
Okay. Bye-bye.